So he hires another medical student to sit in class and take notes for him. And then he stays up about half the night every night, studying the notes and studying his medical books. Well, at the end of the year, he took the tests and he graduated #1 in his class of medical students at Columbia University. So he determined he wanted to do something that everybody else would say, you can't do both. He did it. Well, then he was assigned to work at Bellevue Hospital, but they weren't ready for him. They said, it's going to be 6 months before you can come on board. And he wanted to use his skill right away. He was a dedicated doctor. And his dad, who had been from Russia, said, I have an idea. I've heard that people in Russia are dying of the plague. Why don't you go over there, you're a doctor, and see if you can save them? So he thought about it, and he thought, it's something I can do. He went to Russia, and he found the people were dying. But they weren't dying of the plague, they were dying of starvation. And so what he did was he took this money that he had earned, this $1 million that he had earned to help him go through medical school. He still had a good chunk of it left. So he went and bought a lot of grain and he had it shipped to Russia because he truly wanted to help people. Well, Lenin was in power at the time, and he heard about this. Now, pretty cool thing this man is doing. So Lenin went to him and he said, we appreciate this, but we need tractors so that the people can grow their own food and we won't be dependent. And so Armored Hammer went to Henry Ford, and Henry Ford had just started making tractors, but they weren't selling very well because the U.S. farmers hadn't really caught on to the idea of how much tractors could help them. So he asked Henry to donate tractors to Russia. And Henry Ford said, you're a commie, you're a communist, I'm not going to do it. Well, Hammer didn't give up. He thought, this man is a businessman. He said, I'll tell you what, for every 2 tractors you donate, I'll buy a car, one of your cars. And so they cut the deal. And many tractors got shipped to Russia, as well as the fact that Armored Hammer was able to resell the cars he bought at a profit. And because he was helping Russia so much, he was able to earn 38 trade concessions. So he opened up the possibility of becoming a billionaire. And he was well on his way to doing that. But another snag in the road. Stalin took over. And he said to Hammer, you have 24 hours to get out of Russia. So all his trade concessions, all his work, all his money was going nowhere. Well, when he'd been in Russia for these last several months, he'd collected a lot of art that the czars had. And he asked Stalin if he could take the art with them. And Stalin and the communists hated the art, so they said yes. So he took the art, he went back to the United States, to New York City, broke, and he went to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and he said, would you like to buy this beautiful collection? And they said, we don't have enough money. Did he give up? Nope. He knew the universe was going to support him. He said, how about if we have a showing of the art and we charge 50 cents a person? And they said, it's the Depression. People don't have money. He said, people always have some money. So he said, I'll give you half of the profit. So they figured, what do we have to lose? So they opened the show and millions of people came. Again, he's a millionaire in a short amount of time. I think this man had a prosperity consciousness, a can-do consciousness, and because he believed, God law always fulfilled. So if he can do it, why can't we do it? We have the consciousness too. Each one of us is part of the one mind. We don't have to get caught up in the beliefs of race consciousness. Race consciousness has wonderful things that teach us good and how to live, but it also has a lot of negative, limiting ideas. We don't have to get caught up in those. We can remember the truth, that there is an unlimited supply of good available to every single one of us, and it's ours for the believing. Well, when I was thinking about, does your life sizzle, I was thinking of kind of like the champagne bubbles, you know, all the fun, sizzle, passion, and joy. But then I thought, what about the frying pan sizzle? Sometimes it seems like our life is sizzling in a way we don't want it to, where there's a lot of heat that's painful. So that kind of sizzle we want to take out of our life, right? So thinking about the situations that are the negative sizzle in our life, how did they get there? Seems like they have a power and they appear, but they really got there because of our belief, whether it was conscious or subconscious. And when we're in a negative situation, one that we don't like, that's painful, our tendency is to say, I can fight it. But what happens when we fight it? We give it power. Disease has no power. Poverty has no power. They only have the power that we give them by our belief. They are results. Hard times are the result of a state of mind. Boring times are the result of a state of time. Lonely times are the result of a state of mind. Disease is the result of a state of mind. We can change our state of mind, change our belief, believe in what we want, and that's what shows up in our life. You know, many of us have been told in our upbringing that hard times make you tough and you can learn and grow, and that's why you need to go through them. Well, I'm all for learning and growing, but I don't think I have to have hard times to do that. I'd rather do it the easy way and just do it out of joy.